Hello and welcome to my channel, Smash Smash Crash. Today we're not going to be smashing or crashing anything. At least I hope not. Today we're going to be drilling holes through stones. And this is the setup that I use. I ended up getting a Dremel drill press. And this seems to work the best for me. I don't have any problems at all anymore. I used to crack a lot of stones trying to figure it all out and all, but now I got a good setup here, and I'm going to give you a little walkthrough on how I do it. All right, so the first step is determining where you want to drill your hole. So I've got mine right here. I've got a little hole right here in the middle, and I just use a little Sharpie pen. I put a little mark where I want it. Now the next step is I use a caliper, and I take the caliper and I find my mark. I take the tip, the very tip of it, and I put it right beside that mark, right in about the middle, but beside it. And I squeeze the caliper shut. I hold it nice and tight there. Turn it around on the other side. And I put a mark right at the tip of it. Just like that. Now I got a mark on both sides. Another thing I do before I do any drilling is I try to get my stone as level as possible. I try to grind it and get it pretty close to being level here. This stone here may not be as level, but it's slightly a little off here on this one. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to try to get it as close as possible before drilling. That's how I like to do it anyways. All right, now that we have our mark on both sides here, the next step, okay, now what I like to use is the diamond burr set. I use my Dremel. This is a 4200 Dremel, and with the drill press and all. I've got the 1/8 shank diameter bits that I'm using. My Dremel will hold these bits good, and I like to use the 40 grit. The 40 grit goes through these stones real easy. Yeah, it's not a problem at all. I did also buy the medium grit 1/8 inch shank. I wasn't quite sure what grit medium was, but then once I got it, I realized medium grit is 120 to 150 grit. This doesn't work so well for me. I tried this out, and I just don't like it. I'd prefer to use the 40 grit. It works really well. Okay, it's got 30 bits in here, lots of different types. You got these ball bits and lapidary bits, and so the next step, I've got one right here on top of my drill press that I use. I use the smallest ball bit that comes in the set. Now you may be making smaller holes than I am. My holes are a little bit bigger than most, but you can get different size lapidary bits and all. Like this one. This shank size is actually 3/32 inch, and it doesn't fit in my Dremel. The shank is too small for my Dremel, so if you need to make much smaller ones, you may have to use a different kind of tool like this. But they do fit in drills and all. But when I was trying to drill through, you know, stones and all like this, you can't really keep this thing perfectly level and stuff. It's not easy to do. So when I was using these without a press, I was breaking these off left and right. Now, I just got this set on eBay for approximately $12. And so we're going to start with this smallest ball bit that we have here. I'm going to go ahead and take the Dremel out of this machine, this drill press. And I just, on this drill press, there's just a little nut down here on the bottom. You use this wrench, loosen this nut up down here. Mine has these two little blue tabs. You grab them and pull it back. Then you can pull your tip out. It's fairly easy there. Put the ballpoint tip in. Put it back down on here. Get the nut started. Tighten it up a little bit. Now I do this step dry. I don't use any water with it, but you just, you know, you pull down on the lever here and get it right on your mark. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on. It's gonna get a little noisy for a minute. You got to give it a little tap or it doesn't work right. And just real lightly. Put a little mark in it like that. And then I like to take my Sharpie on some stones it's a little hard to see, so I'll just do the little Sharpie on there, flip it around to the other mark on the other side. And do the same thing. Alrighty, now that we got that done, the next step, switch back to the lapidary bit here. Alright, and I like to use a little bit of water when I do this. So I found this little tin can, a little BB can. That's what I got. I just found something around the house, and pellets actually. Take this and fill it up with some water. Not too much to where it'll overflow when you put your stone in there. But it covers up the stone there. And the next step, first I like to pull the drill press down, hit my mark. Sometimes I'll move it around a little bit just to make sure it's in that that little bit we ground out there. And I leave just a little bit of pressure on it. Okay, then I go ahead and turn on my Dremel. Now I got to give it that little tappy whap again. Mine's getting wore out. It figures it wants to be a pain when I'm making this video. We might be smashing something after all. There we go. I'm just gonna take it easy and try to hit my mark here. Get a little light down here where I can see what I'm doing. Then I just take it nice and easy, putting a little bit of pressure on it. You can see the color changing in the water as we're going through. Now you don't want to go through all the way. You want to go through about halfway, maybe a little bit more than that. Then you're going to want to flip it over to the other side. And do the same thing. Now you want to be careful that you don't go through your can here. So I go through a good ways, and I come back to the other side and I go through again. All right, and there you have it. We got a hole all the way through it. Now, if you have to, there's other types of bits in here that you can use as well. I got one that's a little bit bigger that I end up running through it next when I do my process. And then I end up running this one through it. And that gives me a, you know, that this one's not tapered like the other one. So this gives me a nice hole about the same size all the way through it. And it's just the same process. You just change out your bits and do whatever it is you need to do. But they've got all kinds of different sizes and all in here that you can use to do things with. These work really good as well for grinding. If you're making shapes and all like that, you know, you can grind them away pretty good. This 40 grit does a great job with all that. And then, you know, certain stones you may want to clean the hole out and all and run some water through it. And some people will take and run thread through it to clean it out because that dust will dry hard in there. And that's all there is to it. This setup works great. I'm going to actually do a couple more here. I've already got the ball bits drilled into them, and then I remarked them on this blue so I can see where my little ball bit holes are at. And I'm just going to do a couple more here real quick. This process works really well. There's 2 down. All right. Now here are some of the ones I've done before. Like this one ended up busting. But until I got that drill press with those 40 grit bits. This one broke. I ended up gluing it back together. This one broke. I glued it back together. Now this one, I was using the little ones with my drill, no drill press. And I got a hole through it, but I busted out the back of it. The tips kept breaking off. These tips kept breaking off inside of there. And I had 3 of them break off in here. But I was still able to get those out of there. It was very hard. It took a long time. I finally got it out and was able to get this one done without breaking the stone in half. This one I practiced on. This one, you can see where it's all blowed out here because I drilled from this side down through it, and I tried to go all the way through without drilling through the other side, and it blew out the back of the stone. So then I practiced on this hole. I got this one done. Just a little practice hole. Turned out well. But as you can see, the way we just done it there worked great, you know, and I like to use water with it. We've done multiple stones so far, and the bit is still working great. So you can see it, it's got little diamond bits on it. But it still works great. I hope this video helped y'all, and it'll make your process a little bit easier. Like it definitely has helped me. Again, I really appreciate you watching, and hope you have a great day today. Thanks, and take care.